Good day and welcome to SCO BRICS Insight, where we look at what's really going on in the world of the BRICS. Well, the BRICS Summit started on Tuesday in Kazan. Their event will run for 3 days and host guests from 34 countries. The combined GDP of BRICS countries has exceeded 60 trillion, which is in excess of the G7 countries. Now, what factors have contributed to the decline of the G7 so-called golden billion? And why is it now ceding economic leadership to its rival, the BRICS? Well, the role of the BRICS countries in the global economy has been growing significantly and continues to expand. By the end of 2023, the BRICS countries will account for 37% of the global economy, up from 31% in 2022. In 2024, the share of the BRICS countries in global GDP at purchasing power parity will reach a record 39% compared to the G7, which is down at 28%. Now, information was provided by the Russian Finance Minister Anton Sulyanov. Vladimir Putin has also stated that the combined GDP of the BRICS countries is in excess of 60 trillion, which is more than the G7 countries, and so it's inevitable that the gap will continue to widen. Now, the combined GDP of the G7 countries is estimated to be 46 trillion in 2023. And Sulyanov also highlighted that the average growth rate of the BRICS economies in the new composition will reach 4.4% per year compared to the global rate of around 3%. Conversely, the growth rate of the G7 is projected to be only 1.7%. And the countries that are part of the association are in fact the main drivers of global economic growth. Now, the BRICS economies are set to drive the majority of global GDP in the near future, says Putin. Now, the BRICS alliance traditionally united Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. However, in January 2024, the commencement of full membership for the newly admitted countries of Egypt, Iran, Ethiopia, and the UAE and, well, we're not quite sure, but Saudi Arabia. Now, Sulyanov believes that the time has come to change the face of the global financial system, and he hopes that in the next 5 years the first phase will be announced at the summit and will be completed by then. Now, before I continue, I'd like to make an appeal. If you like and enjoy my videos, you can help me fund the channel and my website, SCO BRICS Insight, and to further develop them. You can do this by making a small donation, clicking on the thanks button at the bottom of the video screen, and everybody who donates gets a personal thank you from me. And I'll thank you all now for just watching this video because I do appreciate it. Now, the BRICS countries have demonstrated fairly high growth rates since 2015. In 2022, they overtook the G7 countries in GDP for the first time, says Sergei Margulis, who's senior lecturer at the Department of Politics of the Russian Presidential Academy. He says, the BRICS countries are now in a position to act more independently without looking at the countries of the collective West and obeying their instructions, says Sulyanov, who's the professor of the Department of Financial Market Infrastructure at the Russian Higher School of Economics. Now, the BRICS countries have a number of major competitive advantages over the G7. Firstly, the combined population of the BRICS countries is more than 3 times that of the G7 countries. Plus, the individual significant proportion of lower income individuals in the BRICS countries presents a promising opportunity for their continued economic expansion and consumer market growth, according to Alexander Potavan, who's an analyst at FG Finam. Secondly, the BRICS countries have a relatively abundant resource base. It's notable that none except the USA of the G7 countries have rich natural resources, which presents a significant challenge for them. Now, for an extended period, these countries have been able to sustain themselves, primarily through the development of the robust services sector, rather than through expansion of natural resources or a manufacturing base. The BRICS countries' natural resources are a significant asset, with a diverse range of resources way beyond just oil and gas. I mean, the BRICS countries account for, about 49% of global oil and gas reserves, but it also accounts for 80% of the world's aluminium reserves. China is a leading force in rare metals and reserves and lithium production, along with other essential elements for the development of high tech. Now, theory at the Russian Economic University states that this is only going to continue. So in addition to the resources, Russia can also provide necessary logistics routes, Northern Sea Route for example, for more profitable trade cooperation. Now each country has its own unique strengths within BRICS. I mean, for instance, China has established itself as the global manufacturing hub by integrating international production networks. India boasts the world's largest population with a rapidly growing workforce. Russia and Saudi Arabia are countries with vast natural resources. Brazil is the largest country in Latin America, and its larger population also results in a greater demand for food and energy resources. And it's not surprising, of course, that the BRICS countries outperform the G7 by more than 75% in energy production. And the area of arable land in the BRICS countries is more than twice that of those in the G7. Plus their agricultural production far outstrips this G7 according to Pataman. Also, India and to a lesser extent China benefit from the ability to utilise an inexpensive labour force, which is also a significant advantage that allows them to increase production. Plus, the BRICS countries benefit from a large and relatively inexpensive workforce, which are just as highly, if not more educated than that of the G7 countries, and is also larger in number. And plus, they tend to study STEM subjects rather than liberal arts. I mean, in the context of the attempts to isolate Russia via sanctions, the BRICS countries provided Russia with a degree of political and economic insulation, while also facilitating the redirection of its export flows from Europe. Now, obviously, there are areas where the BRICS countries could improve. I mean, BRICS doesn't yet have its full institutional processes in place. Now, that would indicate it's not yet a fully fledged international organisation. And there's also instances where it's not been able to perform whether a particular country is a member. I mean, Saudi Arabia, which attends meetings, was not actually confirmed its membership. Although we hope that will happen in the very near future, hopefully at this particular summit. I mean, another is essential to enhance the quality and depth of collaboration within the countries of the Union. Once this is achieved, it's going to be easier to deepen the level of financial cooperation and create and implement fully fledged independent payment systems of BRICS that can bypass all the Western payment systems like SWIFT. I mean, for now, BRICS is a very amorphous political entity, and in addition to the abbreviation, the BRICS countries are united by the fact that their major economic and political agendas do not receive the role that it really deserve in making global political decisions. There's also inconsistencies with the association. I mean, they've got to move beyond being an abbreviation and get some tangible economic institutions apart from the new development bank. I mean, the initial stage is building the alternative to the Western cross-border payment structures, and now they're actually trying to do that. I mean, Russia's got the greatest interest in this matter, and it's promoting the idea of the alternative BRICS payment system as the counterweight to the Western system, which dominates world trade, and it cuts off, like they've done to Russia and Iran, any countries it deems undesirable. Now, Russia's approach in this is actually illustrative. It provides another example for BRICS members to follow in recognising why it's necessary to establish an independent financial payment system, which I understand is going to be unveiled at the summit. Anyway, that's my update for now. I'll keep you informed as much as I can. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, you can donate by clicking on the thanks button. Don't forget the comment section. Love to see them, love to read them, and love to respond to them. Until the next time, thank you.